ENIC are unaware of Daniel Levy selling his shares. Andy Robertson sending a message to the Tottenham fans. Toby Alderweireld shares his views on Spurs' defensive options, and Michael Dawson shares his opinion on Spurs' new summer signing. Here are your daily Tottenham news headlines. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel and to another episode of the daily Tottenham news headlines, where I'll be going through all the latest Spurs news, rumours and reports. My name's Lee of Dorset Spur, and if you're watching on YouTube, like, share and subscribe to the channel. If you are listening to this on an audio platform, please hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. So let's get into it. Here are some of the stories making the headlines today. Sky Sports have reported that Spurs owners ENIC are unaware of a reported Levy stake sale. Tottenham majority owners ENIC, the investment company owned by the Lewis family, has said it is not aware of former chairman Daniel Levy selling his stake in the firm, equating to almost 25% of shares. A company named 8 Sports Capital claimed earlier on Friday that they had signed a purchase agreement to buy Levy's 24.99% share in ENIC. An ENIC spokesperson said, "We can confirm that neither ENIC nor Tottenham Hotspur are aware of any sale by Daniel Levy's family trust of its minority stake in ENIC, Tottenham Hotspur's parent company." The Tottenham Hotspur board and executive team remain fully focused on delivering the commitments we set out to our fans at the end of the season. Sky Sports News have reached out to Daniel Levy for comment. Former Spurs star Toby Alderweireld on Jean-Paul van Hecke and Marcos Senesi talking to Football London. They both know the Premier League. That's good, because I think Spurs now need stability. They need to know that players can perform every week, week in, week out. They perform on a good level. Of course, a transfer to a new club is always a bit different, but they know the Premier League, and that's very important. Next season, it's important that we go back to this awful period. So I think it's understanding they are looking for players who are proven in the Premier League. That's something they should do. That should have a little bit more security in that. Toby Alderweireld on Luka Vuskovic, he said, "You can loan him again. He's very young, so he has time. But the thing is, you have to have someone next to him who is there all the time, and not this guy and that guy. He needs to be together with a regular partner, because he has to improve. He has to improve by himself, but as well, you're a team. A centre-back, I think Jan Vertonghen and me are a best example. We were one team, and that's very important. Even maybe, I don't want to talk about it, but the quality of Arsenal at centre-back, those two, they play together all the time, and they play good together. They know he's doing this and he's doing that. That's the quality of him and the quality of him, and they play together. That's something at Spurs we need to get as quickly as possible, to get a good partnership for the centre-backs." Tottenham's new signing, Andy Robertson, has sent a message to the fans, and he has said, "Hi Tottenham fans, it's me, Andy Robertson here. As you can see, I'm not in Glasgow, I'm in America, just now preparing for the World Cup. But I just wanted to send a quick message to say I cannot wait to play for you guys. I cannot wait to meet you guys. I cannot wait to play in the stadium for the first time in front of you, and I'm already looking forward to next season. All the best, and I will see you soon." And former Spurs defender Michael Dawson on Andy Robertson, he's the finished article. We've had 2 seasons in the Premier League together and a championship campaign where we had a great group of players, got promoted, we all learned, and he had all these challenges to overcome. Then when you go to a club of Liverpool stature, the pressure, the expectation, what he's given to Liverpool Football Club in the time he's been there, and what he's won, the goals, the assists, the way Jurgen Klopp got him and Trent Alexander-Arnold playing, it was just quite remarkable. I saw him when we played at Anfield towards the end of last season. It was the first time I'd seen Robbo for a long time. It was great to catch up. He hasn't changed, and now it's an honour to welcome him to this football club, and it'll be amazing. He'll bring all his experience, all the leadership that he has learnt along the way from players like Jordan Henderson, Virgil van Dijk, James Milner and Mo Salah. The list goes on. I've always loved watching him throughout his career, and I'll certainly enjoy watching him play in this famous shirt that I wore for 9.5 years and was always proud to wear. So, my thoughts on some of these stories. Well, the one about Daniel Levy selling his stake, I'm not sure whether ENIC would have to actually be told that he's selling his stake. I don't know whether that's a thing or not. But 8 Sports Capital do have form. The guy in charge there, he did say that he was buying Spurs earlier on last season, I believe. That kind of turned out not to be true, and ENIC doubled down and said we are not for sale. But it is obvious that this guy has an interest in Spurs. He's a Spurs fan, a tech billionaire and a DJ and so on, and he has backing from Asia with a couple of other people on there. So does it have legs? I'm not sure. You know, do we want it to have legs? Probably, but I'm not sure whether this guy is the real deal or whether he's a bit of a stirrer or something like that. It's just really difficult to know. But does Daniel Levy want to sell his share? Does he want to move on to something new? There has been talk of him doing other deals about different stuff. So maybe he just wants to cut his ties altogether from a business point of view. And I'm sure it'll be worth a fair few quid in his back pocket. So you never know. But I'm sure this is going to be one of those stories that that kind of develops over the coming few days, and we'll find out exactly what's going on here. Are ENIC just playing it down? Are they even aware? Daniel Levy hasn't said anything, and Sky News have reached out to him for some sort of comment. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one and see what that means for him, what that means for Tottenham and us fans. Will that mean a lot of investment? I know the guy has said that he is going to put a lot of money into the club, but it could just be paper talk, to be fair. So let's wait and see how that one goes. Some good comments from Toby Alderweireld. He certainly knows his defensive stuff. And I understand where he's coming from. We do need stability. We need to know who our centre-backs are going to be. It does kind of throw into the mix what's happening with Romero, because talking about having a set pairing kind of just does make you think, well, with Senesi and Van Hecke, you know, are they kind of building up for Van der Ven and Romero to move on, or are we talking about a second pairing to give us depth? I don't know. I don't know, but certainly having a set pair together does make a hell of a difference. If you look at the times with Alderweireld and Vertonghen, it was probably our best defensive time. They were solid together. They played for their national team together and so on. So Van Hecke and Van der Ven together, you know, play for their national team, will be at the Netherlands, but you know, that could kind of work itself out. But yeah, there's been a lot of talk about defensive options for Spurs, and we do need that depth. But we do have Kevin Danso, who I think has done pretty well for Spurs. So, you know, how does he fit into that? But you know, there's been lots of talk about Radu Dragushin moving on, Romero, and even Van der Ven. So maybe there is some movement in those ways. So we'll just have to wait and see. Again, it's one of those, isn't it? Until the transfer market really kicks in, we won't really know what's going on. It's a lot of speculation. His comments about Luka Vuskovic. Well, yeah, I get it. He is a young guy, but he is desperate to play. But again, he needs to know who he's going to be playing with on a regular basis to build that trust. Will he go out and get on loan again? I guess it's possible, isn't it? it's possible for him to kind of move on. He is only, what is he, 19 or something? So maybe he does need another year. But I do think a Premier League loan would be better, a bit more of a competitive league to see what he's really got. Would that be an opportunity? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I would like to see him come back to Spurs and mix with the first team and really see what he's got about him. But again, a lot depends on what these signings, how they work out, and who's going to go where, who's staying, and so on. So Andy Robertson with his message, a little bit disappointed he didn't say "Come on, you Spurs" at the end. I'm a bit disappointed with that. I always like to see that little statement at the end. It's what the Spurs players do when they sign. But yeah, quick message to say that he's joined. It's all been confirmed and so on. And I think the more interesting thing is the comments from Michael Dawson, who's played with him for a couple of years and played in the Championship with him, knows him inside and out and knows what sort of player he is, and he hits it spot on. Lots of leadership. He's learnt a lot from a lot of really good players at Liverpool. He's won lots of trophies, and he's got that little bit more experience than what we've currently got in the squad. So I know there's been people that are saying, well, he is 32, is he too old, and so on. And I just think it's one of those. We really need to get that balance between in the ages. We've got so many young players. And lots of inexperience. I know they're gaining experience in the Premier League, but some of that experience has been really tough. So, you know, someone with a winning mentality who's won stuff, I think could be good for it. Not sure we want tons and tons of that, because I still do like the idea of building for the future. But yeah, I think this is a decent one to bring in. Left back is a place where we don't have lots of options, with Jed Spence being more right-footed, and Udogie being injured a lot. I think this one makes sense for me. So I'm all for it. So yeah, good for us. Anyway, that's it for today. Nice and short. So thanks for watching and listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, share and comment. Subscribe to the channel if you don't already. If you're listening on an audio platform, please follow and leave a review if you can. My name's Lee, the Dorset Spur, and I do have my own channel. If you'd like to pop over and say hi, I'll be very pleased to have you. And I'll see you on the next one. And as always, up the Spurs.